Welcome to the Success Resequencing Project. I'm Debbie Ponticus.
And I'm Jenn Newman.
Join us as we challenge the traditional definitions of success so you can build a fulfilling path of your own.
Get ready for inspired, candid conversations while gaining tools, inspiration, and confidence to create your own authentic success story.
Good morning.
Howdy, howdy.
How are you?
Good.
Good. You look good and refreshed today.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
That's very kind.
Yes, absolutely. So, today I have a topic that I think we can dive into, if you will. Grace me with this, because I thought it was pretty relevant. You and I both have teams. We're both in real estate and we've grown teams and we've coached together and we've mentored people. So that's really important for us. We find fulfillment in that. Mm-hmm. And so I thought what we could talk about is, how does that team dynamic look? And as a team leader, if you're going to grow your business or you're scaling or you're trying to expand, what is the purpose of building a team? And there's not just one. There's multiple reasons why, different people might grow a team. But I just would love to kind of hear your thoughts on what inspired you to grow a team and how and what your mindset is as far as a team leader and how you grow and encourage your team. And then, compare that to, is that different than my mindset and how I grew a team, and just kind of share that. Because I think that when you're, especially in the real estate business, but I know this applies to a lot of other industry where you do mentor, and people learn and grow. Like, it could be photography, it could be estheticians, it could be dentistry, it could be any of these professions that really, to learn a business, it's best to get a mentor or learn underneath. And then what does that look like as that person grows? How do you either decide to grow and mentor them to keep them, or is the intent to allow them to grow to a certain point where they can go and spread their own wings elsewhere? So those are the thoughts that I thought, let's dive into that a little bit, because I think it resonates with a lot of different people. And I've had conversations like this with other people in different industries, and they've struggled with it a bit. So for me, I just recently had a team member who I have mentored since the beginning they came into the industry. And she's amazing. She was a rock star from the beginning. And when I decided to launch a team, she came with me, which was great. And she's just decided she's now ready to go on her own and have her own business. And I could not be more proud. Like, I think it's amazing that she feels ready to go out. And I always knew. Like, I think that's one of the things that I want to talk to you about is, like, when you know that someone on your team is destined for more, and they're not always going to be happy being on someone else's team. Like, how does that impact you as a team lead? How is that good? Is that bad? Anyway, all the things. Because I know you have recently started a team, mm-hmm. and you now have grown your team to quite a few people. How many people are on your team now?
6.
So anyway, I just wanted to pick your brain on, how is it going to be when and if that person comes to you and says, hey, I thank you for everything you've done, but I'm ready to go do this on my own.
I think it's just like any other employer or any sort of business owner. Mm-hmm. I think the idea that people are going to stay with you forever it's a fallacy. Mm-hmm. But I do think that there are certain people who are more inclined to be in that environment than others. Mm-hmm. I also think it depends on what the purpose of the team is. Mm-hmm. Is the purpose of the team to just say that I have a team? Is the purpose of the team rooted in some other philosophy? For me personally, it's about, I believe we're better together. And I believe that we can make more of a lasting impact when we have the resources within ourselves to be able to do that. So my goal as team lead was to create an environment where the folks that are on my team have autonomy to still run their businesses the way that they wish. Mm-hmm. And that the team is a resource to them. The team is also a benefit to them when they're out winning new business, that they are able to show the strength of the team behind, and that we cover a really wide geographic range. So it is with full confidence that I can say that if you're looking for someone that's in this area, I have that person. And that if it's not me directly, then it's them. Or if they need me to be able to say the same, that we have each other to lean on from that perspective. But the biggest thing for me was about community and about autonomy. And that it wasn't about my team, it was about our team. I am the head of that team. I founded it, and it is my team for multiple logistical reasons, but
and monetary. I mean, you fund things for the team and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep. And so that's fine. But I say it on every team meeting, which is we're better together, and we are here to help one another. Even if that is just behind the scenes, we are all supporting one another and helping each other be able to live our best life in our businesses so that we can be of that much service to our clients. And so the dynamic is really important to me. The ability for people to feel seen and heard, and the ability for me to know that what I do best is to mentor people and be able to help them have what they need, the tools they need to be as successful as possible. I also know that that's a dynamic that I bring to the table as team lead. But it's not about, oh, look at my team. Look at me. Look, I have this team. It's just not, that isn't the point for me. It really isn't. It really comes from, we are not meant to do life alone.
Yeah.
And I think we're not meant to do business alone either. And I think that we can be very insulated in real estate and become these sole practitioners that are kind of just isolated in many ways. And I love the ability to be able to say, we've got each other.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody makes everybody better.
Yeah.
And for me, that was a really big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that if you're a business owner and you are mentoring people new to the business and teaching them how to grow their businesses and things of that nature, and I even, when I was managing teams in corporate, if someone were to come into me and say, hey, I respect everything you've done for me as a team lead, but I'm ready and I've just gotten a job promotion and I'm not going to get that opportunity here, but I've got it somewhere else. I've always been amazing. I am so proud of you. That is what I could only hope for as someone who's been mentoring you and managing you, is that you find the courage and the skill sets and the wherewithal to know when that next step for you is. Right? Because no matter where you are and growing, there's only going to be one business owner, right? So if someone is passionate about having their own brand and business in whatever field you're doing, then it's inevitable that that person is going to eventually find that it's time to spread their wings and go.
Yes,
right?
If they don't find value in what that is.
See, I will disagree on that. I think depending on their intent for their business line and for what the value they're getting from whatever that team lead is, if they're content with that, then absolutely I think that falls into play. But I think there are some people that no matter what value you're giving as a team lead or a business owner, right? It doesn't just have to be a team lead, a business owner, that there are some people that have the drive, will, and destination to want to be the business owner.
Right.
So there's no value you're going to be able to continue to give that unless you bring them on as a partner and now they're co-owning that business, right?
I think it also depends on the notion of what a team lead. There is no way that the way my team is structured, I don't pay my bills based on my team.
Yeah.
And so for me personally, what monies come in as a team lead go right back into the team. So there is no, I'm having a payday on my team. So for me personally, that was the bigger reason why the autonomy was so important and why my expectation of everyone on my team is to be fully branded as their own agent is because at the end of the day, they are running a business. And my expectation is that they are running a business. It's not dabbling in real estate. It is a fully functioning, fully formed entity that is theirs, that they have chosen to collaborate in a team sense. That my bills don't get paid on my team.
Right.
So for me personally, that was that when I penciled all of that out, it was like, no, I would have to have, I can't even imagine how many people. And that wasn't the point. The point was, how can we be an asset together that only assists and aids and benefits that person's business so that they are only strengthened by it, that it never feels like a hindrance, or it never feels like they don't get their spotlight where they need it.
Yeah.
And that has been very important to me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, to me, it didn't make sense. The way the confines of real estate are structured, if you have a team, you essentially have a mini brokerage. And at the end of the day, I wanted that environment to be an environment that was inclusive and supportive and valuable to them to help their businesses grow. They should be able, if I were not there, they have a fully functioning business without me. And I have a fully functioning business without them.
Yeah.
So it was more about then what's the point? And for me, it was about collaboration, community, autonomy, and knowing that there could very well come a point in time where any one of them may not find value in that anymore.
Yeah.
And when they don't find the right value for that, then they would leave.
Yeah.
And that is the reality of any situation. If they don't find value and they find it somewhere else, that priority becomes that, then they're going to make a different decision. And that's why I didn't want something, I never wanted to build, for me, that it was not a self-sustaining entity.
Right.
What's sustaining is my business and their businesses, and we join them all together under one name to go out and have that much greater impact.
Right.
But my expectation is that they do have that drive, that they do have the ability to promote themselves, promote their businesses, and it's fully functioning.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't want you on my team.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not here for a team that is full of people that just want to be drug along.
Yeah.
You know, that wasn't, for me personally, I didn't want that.
Yeah. But I think looking at it from the business owner hat, because you can, again, I'm using these interchangeably because teams, business owner, it's about creating that community, creating in a sales world, right? Where we're interacting and we're helping people learn how to build business. That's what I think when we're coaching and when we're mentoring, what we're doing is teaching them how we did it and how we've seen others do it so that you can be individually successful as well. And I think you and I are very similar in that. Like we don't look at teams as a way to make money. We look at teams and building people and mentoring. It's just it's a way to organize mentorship, if you will, because we have our own philosophies and ways of doing business that someone's either going to be attracted to or not. Because you and I are not in the business of trying to teach multiple methods. Like this is what works for us. This is what we know works. This is what we have seen be successful. So if this works for you, then please come in and I will help you build your business and all this, right?
Yeah.
So we've always approached it that way, as like, we've never said it as like, you're joining my team to help build my business. No, it's always been, you're going to come to the team so that I can help you build your business.
But also, I have an agent on my team who's been in real estate longer than I have. And so it's not all just about mentorship. Meaning, in my case, I sit back and that is something that I'm looking at moving forward. I also recognize that leaders go first. And so from my vantage point, when I sat for a very long time contemplating what a team looked like, I knew that I would be the front. I knew I'd be the front face, and I knew that I would lead and manage, and I would take on the responsibility. I think that's the other piece here is that creating a team is more work for the person who creates the team.
Yeah.
And so and I'm happy to do that because I understand the outcome that it has with everybody, but I don't treat them all the same, and they all have different needs.
Yeah.
And so I feel the responsibility as the leader of that team to tap into what each one of them needs and how I can support their business. That is what our meetings look like. That is what our time together looks like. And I recognize that if it's like I say, if any one of them left, I would, of course, that is never anything. You never go into, it's like going into a marriage and already thinking about divorce. You go into it with every intention that for as long as it's sustainable, that you can only add that much value. The reality is that there is nothing but change in the world and people are going to come and go, and that's part of life. My whole desire underneath was, how can I create this environment that is supportive and nurturing and can be the one that is ready to take the brunt of it, right? That's going to stand and take that. But also knowing that I'm not about, let's just keep plugging people in.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that. They have to be the right fit. They have to be the right dynamic, because what we have is a unique dynamic, and it's not just about numbers. It's not. It's like, I need to hire someone in another part of the valley. It's just something that I'm intentional on. And it's either a hell yes or a hell no. There's no, well, you check that box and I need bodies. It's not about that. It's like, this is the environment we've created.
Yeah.
And it's really important to me that dynamic not get adversely disrupted, because that I also know will change the dynamic. I want to make sure that people feel that they can be their fully authentic self, and they're there to just be a part of something so they can be that much more. And that's where my head's at with it. You know, it doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It's just, it is its own nuance in now a totally new challenge. And I love it. I love having that team, because I am so equally inspired and mentored by all of them. Yeah. Because they're incredible people and incredible agents. Right. So we feed off of each other, but I don't feel that my job, it's different. Like, I have a mentee right now, separate, not part of the team, who is fantastic. She is so smart and savvy, and she's a great agent already, you know, and I love that. I've also mentored many people. They don't, you and I both know, they don't all fit the same bill, right? They come in different shapes and sizes with experiences and personalities. And so there's a mentorship, which is, I'm going to train you how to be a great agent. Right. But then there's leading a team. And with that, it feels different to me. Because my expectation on the team is that you already know how to run a business.
Yeah. 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 I think that, you know, ultimately, what I've learned going through different phases of being a team leader, whether it's in corporate, you know, then going completely independent where I'm my own person, I don't have anyone that is I'm managing or guiding or being a team lead for, to then going to the other side is to having a team. You know, I think that when you make that transition, to your point, it's really important to understand, as that team lead and team manager or business owner, what you're trying to get out of that person. And that sounds like a negative, but where I'm going is your intent to just have them help build your business, or is your intent as a leader to help them grow? Right.
Always them.
And it's always them, but there's not, that mindset isn't always there when people go into managing a team.
I'm sure there isn't. I think team is a fertile ground for egocentric mania. Right. And I was very sensitive to that, because that was the last thing I wanted anybody to think. Yeah. Yeah. And because the truth is, I have a great business on its own. Right. Well, I didn't need a team. I wanted a team. And to me, that was, and I understand there's different team models. There are many different team models. If we just spoke to real estate in particular, that are very different. So a wide range of ways that they're run. Mine was not about, let me create all the leads for all of you and then take a significant portion of those funds. That was the most unappealing for me personally. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with that.
There's people that are very successful with that model.
Absolutely. It just was not, that does not beat my heart.
And I think that's my exact point. That's what I'm trying to make a point of with this discussion today, is that there are lots of ways that you can be successful as a business owner, as a team leader, again, team in multi-different industries. But you need to be true with yourself as to why you're doing it, so that when things happen and when things change and when things occur, you're not surprised by the reaction or the result, where I was going back to, when this team member came to me and said, hey, I'm ready to go on my own. Like, I had nothing more than pride and excitement for this person, where I can see if my mindset was different and I had set my team up to where I was, that teammate was paying my bills, like how you are. We're very similar in how we've set our teams up. They weren't there to pay our bills. It's more about the value we're giving each other. And when that happens, it was like, I was like, happy, not like I definitely wish she was staying, but just because we had built such great community and family and all of that. But I was like a proud parent, like saying, you're ready to fly. And I'm so excited for you. I have nothing but good wishes for you. But I've seen other people get really distraught and when this happens, they're like, oh, so-and-so's leaving and they're going off and they're taking all my ideas. And I'm like, then you went in that with the wrong mindset. Because why wouldn't that person was not destined to be a 9 to 5, because when you have teams, there are different positions on teams. And this is in any kind of business, right? You've got the people in the sales roles, right? These are the people that are trying to build business and trying to build brand and trying to grow and wanting to and then you have the admin roles where there's really not a ton of growth for that role, but they're incredibly important and critical to the team to do that background work. So when those members leave, that's like, oh, shoot, was I not communicating well? Did they not get enough value? Because that's just more of a day-to-day role person in your organization, right? Versus the ones that you're trying to grow to build business. Like when you think of corporate, you've got your sales team, right? If someone's a rock star salesperson, then if you grow them to a certain level, then you shouldn't be surprised when they leave for opportunity that's beyond what you can provide them. You should be like, amen, go get it. I can't wait to see you at the top of the list,
Yeah.
But if you're taking it personally, that, then you have the wrong mindset of, and that's, I don't know where I'm going with that, but I'm just understanding that when you own a business and you're trying to scale or you're trying to grow, or for me, being a team leader isn't about growing my business. It never was. It was about just being around like-minded, amazing, hardworking. We had the work ethic and just wanting to be on the same mindset with people and just being able to enjoy what we do and share with each other and help each other out when we can and help each other troubleshoot things. And it's that community, right? So if that was the whole point, which it was, then, sometimes communities change and sometimes people's lives change and sometimes their needs change and sometimes their inspirations change or how they want to grow change. And so it's like, okay, how can I help this? How can I help you? How can I be a support to what you need in your life? And if that means you're not part of that team anymore, that's growth. You know what I mean? That's just something that I just want people to understand that, it's okay if there's change, if there's people's lives change, people's needs change, the value changes. But, you do have to go back and look at yourself in the mirror as a leader and say, okay, was it something that was the value not there? Take a moment, right? Take a moment to reflect and be like, could I have done something different to help that person want to stay in a certain environment or community? And if the truth is there's really nothing, it was just time.
Yeah.
Then okay.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for that type of opportunity. I don't know. I think it's just an important phase to think about and to be able to internalize as you grow and manage teams, whether it's 2 people, whether it's 10 people, whether it's 100 people, understanding that dynamic changes the bigger the team gets as to what the expectations should be of you, and that you have to communicate that to the team and get the feedback, right? And just to be able to kind of either maintain it or trim it back because, this is getting spread too thin and we're losing value. The value proposition is getting diluted.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
At the end of the day, it's all about them.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then it, to me, is not sustainable. A good leader is going to encourage growth in their people all day long because growth was encouraged in them.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, it's a constant sense of wanting people to feel that they're empowered to live their best life, whatever that looks like, and understanding that if there's a way that I can help in some small way, excellent. But most importantly, it is wanting them to, just like with kids, like you only want them to exceed at whatever it is that they want. And you want them to do more than you could have ever dreamed of. That's the whole point. And I feel the same way with a team. You only want people to feel that they can be the best version of themselves. And if they don't feel that they can, if the environment isn't such where they feel that coming in, or they don't feel that they have the autonomy to do that, then that to me is where there are breakdowns and issues that will cause you as the leader to really sit back and go, well, what happened? Whereas when you know what you've given and you know what you've created and what you've organized and what you want for everybody and you've made that clear, then yes, the natural ebb and flow of that means that things are going to ebb and flow.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. Doesn't mean it's always easy.
Right.
And it doesn't mean there's not disappointment. When the dynamic changes, it changes.
Sure.
There's disappointment that comes along with that. That's just human nature. But it really has to be all about them.
Yeah.
What value, it's how I feel about my clients. What value am I here to bring my clients every day? Their needs must come before mine, just as the way the code is set. And as much as a team lead, what is it that they need? What is it that they want? What is it that we can do as a team to make that happen for them, support them, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then that's where I find the joy.
Yeah.
Is Absolutely. If they can check something else off their list or grow into the next level or whatever that looks like, or just maybe have community. Maybe that's just enough.
Right.
Where it's like, I just know my people have got my back. Meaning that person feels that way. That to me is a huge win.
Yeah.
But it's not about us. It's about them.
Absolutely. 100%. Well said.
For today.
Well, thanks for sharing that. I just thought that was an important topic just to kind of be able to express and talk through. Thanks for joining us. If you loved this episode and know of someone who would find value in it, please spread the word and share it with a friend. We are passionate about redefining success, and it would mean the world if you could help us get our mission out to as many people as possible. Please take a minute to write a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. You can also hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with our latest episodes. Connect with us on Instagram at Success Resequencing Project or via our website at www.successresequencing.com. We'd love to hear your story.